Okay.
We're talking to Vincent, who is calling in from England, and Vincent says he believes in aliens, but probably not what we think. Is that right, Vincent?
That is correct. Yeah. Hello. I've spoken to you before, Dan, and Dr. Dale Ray. It's very nice to hear from you and speak to you for the first time. Seen you a lot on different shows, and think you're a brilliant bloke. So nice to speak to you.
Thank you.
Nice. All right, Vincent. What do you got for us? Because that's a premise that I want to hear the thesis on. Okay, what do you got?
So when I say aliens, I'm not saying the flying saucer kind.
Okay.
I'm saying that there might be animals on other planets which would technically be aliens.
Sure.
But like on Earth, we have animals that survive in very hospitable climates, like underwater volcanoes, sort of like tropics. Some that come out at night and live in caves. That, yeah, I could see there being some form of animal life which would be technically an alien to us, but is just, yeah, I don't think they have the technology to fly anywhere, especially outside their planet.
Okay.
But,
yeah. On a probability basis, right? From 0% saying I don't think they exist at all, 100% being I know absolutely for a fact that they're out there. Where would you say you're at?
Aliens on another planet would definitely be like high 90s.
Yeah.
Because we have the animals that exist in a hospitable planet. Aliens that can travel to other planets is quite a lot lower. It would be sort of 10-20%. It's probably even less than that.
Probably. Yeah, I agree with you, Vincent. I agree with you. I think just based on statistical likelihood alone, there has to at least be, if not what we would call archaic, like proto-bacteria, archaic form of life out there, to maybe advanced complex organisms like what we have with, cells with nucleuses and, the whole nine yards. I think there has to be at least something out there. But I also agree with you with the knowledge that we know about physics right now, right? Knowing that the universe is expanding and that we can't get past the speed of light. Any planets that we encounter, especially those that are going to be like outside of our own galaxy, are just ones that we will not be able to ever go to, and they will not be able to come to us. So we won't be able to actually have that interaction, right? I mean, obviously we are seeing the light from stars and places, that are older than what we've been able to travel to. But everything that we see up in the sky, as any first year astronomy student would know, is actually the result of billions of years old sometimes, depending out in different directions. So yeah, I'm with you there. I do think it's very likely. In fact, maybe, absolute that there has to be other life, but maybe not as intelligent as us, and probably will never get to us. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah,
Dr. Ray?
Oh, I actually agree with Vincent about almost completely. I'd put it at 99.9% that there's life out there. It may be bacterial, it may be viral or fungal, but there's probably life. And all we have to do is find something on Enceladus, or some other moon from Jupiter or Saturn, and that would convince me that it's, well, number one, that'd make it 100%. And then number two means that there's probably millions and millions of other solar systems out there that have life of some kind. It's the issue. It's that old test. I can't remember the name of it, but that physicist that had the test in the 1960s. Why haven't they contacted us? I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about the Fermi paradox.
Yeah, the Fermi paradox. Yeah, the Fermi paradox. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to look at it. I haven't seen many other ways to look at it. We only have a sample of one. That's not a very good sample right now.
No, I mean, I live in the city where Professor Stephen Hawking comes from. So,
right.
We have a brilliant museum here called the Museum of Zoology, and obviously lots of some ancient animals and some extinct, but it's the I'll try and get my words out. The diversity of them is just amazing, from the simple insects to the big whale. It's just, there's got to be an animal out there. Probably intelligent as us.
I think it's likely. But here's the problem, of course, and Dr. Ray mentions the Fermi paradox, right? So if you know about the Fermi paradox, you know that there's this thing with it called the Drake equation, and the Drake equation is basically this. I believe it's calculus equation that plugs in several different variables. And some of it is talking about variables such as the rate of formation of stars, the rate of formation of like planetary systems, right? But it also accounts, which are things that we know, more or less, we have rough ideas on. But it also accounts for other things that we don't know, like the rate at which a civilization can develop interplanetary and civilization changing travel, right? And along with some other things that we just can't actually calculate. So this is one of those questions where it's like we actually can't even calculate the statistical likelihood of us being alone in the universe or not having contact without even knowing some stuff that we may never know the answer to, which is why this is such a hard question to even put a number on probability wise of what we think is likely and what's not likely. We have a sample set when it comes to intelligent life of 1, which is just our Earth, right? We don't have anything else to compare it to. And everything else in the observable universe that we've been able to come to, we've not found any other evidence of. Now, of course, every once in a while, you're going to read stories about, oh, we found signals that have repeating, these repeating signals from these stars. And that's kind of interesting and very weird. But that's all we got. We just got some weird signals that some astronomer in Hawaii at a telescope figured out one day. And that's all we got. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you
had a question there?
The sort of, so would you not count the different inhospitable climates on Earth to be a different sample size? Because obviously, we couldn't exist at an underwater volcano, say,
for
multiple reasons. Would that
make
this if there was a... Sorry, carry on.
When I say sample size, I just mean planets with life, right? That's all I mean. So we have one planet with life on it, now we have some suggestive evidence that, hey, some other planets, even within our own solar system, have evidence of having water on it, for example. But we can't even figure out, does that mean that there was microscopic life on there? Well, we have to be able to get to the moons of Jupiter and stuff, right? We got to get the Calypso, which we can't bring back samples from. That's just not a thing. So there's a lot of stuff that we're just not going to know and probably never know, which is sad, unless we get visited by interstellar beings within the next decade. And honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I mean, there's been a lot of shit that's gone down. I don't know. Could be a thing.
Vincent, I think your point is that there's extremophiles, or what do they call them?
Sure. Yeah.
Out there, and I think those are probably a model for what life there might be. I mean, before the Great Oxidation, there was life here, but it was weird life. It was very different than what we see now. And there's probably a lot of planets out there that never went through the Great Oxidation, so they've got a biota that thrives on sulfur, or something besides oxygen, of course.
Yeah, there's also the problem of we don't even know exactly how our own life on Earth formed yet. We have ideas and estimations and rough understandings of certain abiotic processes. But there's still a lot of question marks there, and that's the big thing creationists always stick the atheist camp in, by the way, which is, how does life start then? And we don't know, but we have a better idea than just some guy and a girl had sex in a garden in Africa, maybe, and all the human race came out of it. I don't know. That's if I'm gonna make bets, I'm gonna go with the former rather than the latter. But hey, that's just me. Vince, did you have anything else before we let you go tonight?
No, I was just going to say thank you very much, guys, for speaking to me and taking my call. You've been great to talk to.